What it do, family? Today we're going to be going over some live online arbitrage profitable opportunities. I'm talking about these are profitable right now as of this date, which means if you were to buy them, sell them, you probably do well, right? Now, these are opportunities that I personally really like, depending on like the category and things like that. But everything is ready, everything is color coded. I'm excited. Hope you're excited. Let's get straight into it. Now, product number one, this item here, this protein nylon brush, $16.99 full price, currently on sale for $13.99. It's on Amazon for $39.99. That major of a price difference, when it's more than 2x of a price difference, for example, if I was to go $13.99 divided by $39.99, that's like I actually don't even know if that's how that works, but let's run it. $13.99 times 3.5. Yeah. No. But about a 3 times multiple on buy cost. So when something is like double the price, so if I'm buying this for like 14, I can sell it for 26. Anything beyond 26 is like, that's a really good sign. So when you see a product like this, you come in, you put the numbers in, $13.99, you're selling for $39.99, right? I think the buy box that's probably being split between a 44 guy in there. Either way, $13 profit, almost 100% return on investment. Something like that is really good. Sometimes you don't have to do anything fancy. You can just buy the product directly from the website and you can sell it on Amazon. Now, with replacement parts, something you really want to be careful of is you want to make sure it's not off-branded or it's not aftermarket. If you're going to be buying replacement parts, you want to make sure it's branded of that specific brand. I've seen a lot of people run into issues like, oh, it's a replacement part, but if you look in the details of that website, it specifies that this is a replacement part. We have no affiliation with the brand itself. This website actually sells branded, vacuum cleaners and materials. So I really like this particular item here, but you always want to make sure, specifically with replacement parts or stuff along that nature, you want to make sure it's not used, it's not aftermarket, and it's actually the brand, right? So let's get into the rest here. Now, I think for opportunity 2 through 10, it's all the same brand. And I dug deep into this as well. There were opportunities, it just none of them were as good as this one. And they were all kind of, mediocre. They weren't at least a 30-40% return on investment, so I didn't really like them. But specifically with this opportunity here, let me make myself a little bit smaller. It's a pack of 6. That's extremely important. It's a pack of 6. And a single unit of it cost exactly, if we were to do some quick math here, $21.95 divided by 6. A single unit of this particular item costs $3.66. Now, we can also get a 25% discount with this Happy B25 code, right? So I got 10 units. We put that in here. Minus 54.86, we can see it's 164.63, right? So if we go in here and we minus this by 25%, we can see we're paying $2.74 per pack, because this is a 10 unit of a pack of 6, right? So just to kind of write it out for you here, this is basically a pack of 6 is $21.95 for a 6-pack. And say pack, and we're basically going to divide that by 6. That's going to give us, I think, 1644, right? Now, actually, that's incorrect. Yeah, what that is, not a highlighter. Where's my eraser? That's minus the 25%. Yeah. So if we get that 6 packs and we subtract 25%, we get 1644. Now, if we divide that by 6, we get 274, right? So that's the buy cost per a single unit. And running with that is basically how we're going to get the next almost 8-ish profitable items. So let's get it straight to number 2. This is the green tea with pomegranate variation. When you find a profitable opportunity, you really want to dig into all the related items, right? That's kind of how I found all of these. That's how I found this guy here. It's just that you find one product, you want to check like all the similar variations. So if there's any other nylon brushes, I need to know about it. I need to have checked it to at least seen if it was profitable, right? So that's the easiest way to turn like one profitable item into 8, just by looking at whatever different variations, colors, sizes, flavors. That's the easiest way to find multiple profitable products just by finding one really good one. So we're here, right? Pack of 6, $21.95. Do the math, $274 per single pack of unit. $274 is selling on Amazon for $974, 400 units monthly, even though it's a variation. When Amazon gives you this data, it's a lot more accurate than whatever SaaS is giving you. So you don't have to go in to try to figure out, okay, how fast is this particular product selling? No, this bad boy, specifically this variation here, is selling incredibly quickly. So $274, $974, $2 profit, almost a 100% return on investment, and it's a grocery item. You can't easily return groceries because it's food. Technically, it's like a hazard, right? I mean, it just is. So even though Amazon allows people to really just return stuff, they're not allowing returns for this. So you might get like a 0.21 refund rate because people can still get refunds by complaining about it. Like, oh, I received it in XYZ condition. But Amazon does make it very difficult for them to be able to easily get a refund off. It takes a lot more steps. So it's not convenient, which means it happens less. This is a great product. Great flip, great opportunity, and a really, really good brand. Now we can go into opportunity 2. This is the pomegranate variation right here. So pomegranate here, pomegranate there. We come in here. We got the constant comment. I don't know what that means. Green tea. Same thing. $21.95 pack of 6. We run into here, $274, $807. Not as great, but $1 profit, 42% return on investment. 50 units were sold in the past month. This is just building up a catalog, right? So instead of having one profitable item, you now have 8 profitable items. One might be better than the other one, but money is money. If anytime you can put in $2 to get $1 back, that's an amazing investment. That's still a 42% return on investment. Imagine you only have $500 to spend. Like that's all you got, and you bought this product. For example, you were able to sell it at the 807 price point, right? So if I'm up here, boom, boom, I'm just turned 500 into 710, right? Just kind of as an example. So in terms of how many units that would actually take, that's like a completely different conversation. But to kind of walk, that take like 182 units divided by 50. That would take maybe 3.5 months, basically almost 4 months for you to be able to get that money back just based on these sales. So maybe you wouldn't want to buy that much of that inventory. Maybe you're only going to buy 10 units, but there's other opportunities as well. So we're coming here, constant comment green tea. This is the same item, same exact link, right? If we come in here, this is the 3-pack. This sells 100 units monthly. Now a 3-pack is just at 274 times 3. That's 822. So I'm buying it for $822, selling it for $19.99. That's a $3 profit, almost a 40% return on investment. So, okay, maybe I should buy more of this particular product at a 3-pack variation style. So if I wanted to buy 10 units of this, I would buy 10 single units. But of course, you have to understand that it's a pack of 6. So you got to do the multiples correctly, right? So you buying a single unit of this is you buying 6 units of this, if that makes sense, because it does come in a pack of 6. So these are just all the same branded products, the same buy cost, which makes it incredibly simple to okay, this is profitable, this is not profitable, and I can just kind of keep moving in that direction. So let me close these just to keep things pretty. Now, if we're working here, we got the wild blueberry and acai, right? 20-pack, pack of 6, same dealio. $274, $867 is what it's selling for. $1 profit, $1.68 profit, 61% return on investment. It's just good, right? That type of return on your capital, especially if you don't have much capital, is a great place to start, especially on a product that sells this fast. This one sells 200 units monthly. So of course it would make sense to maybe possibly buy more units of this item, maybe over our constant comment here. That's, 50 units sold monthly. Now, if we come into the green tea with peach, right? Same deal, 6-pack, just a different flavor, just like 6 different flavors. This is a pack of 2. So if we come in here, 274 times 2, that's 548. Now we're getting a $2 profit, 33% return on investment. That's a lower ROI than everyone else. But if you have capital to spend and things of that nature, now you have a decent catalog. It all kind of plays into each other, right? So you just want to find as many opportunities as possible just so that you can spend as much capital as possible, because the more money you can spend, the more sales you can generate, the more profit you will earn. That's kind of the math to it all. So for running this opportunity, 1304, 548, it's a great play, right? Number 7, let's see. Same dealio with peach, $21.95 price point, pack of 6. We're splitting it into a, okay, so this was not the same dealio. I actually got the purchase link a little mixed up. We're actually getting this as a single pack. We're buying a 50 count pack of 1 here for $23.50, but we can still get that 25% discount, that Happy Bee 25, I believe. $23.50 minus 25%, we're getting it for $17.63. So $17.63, $38.10 is a $7 profit and a 42% return on investment. Now this one is a bit of a slower seller, right? Amazon isn't giving us any specific sales, and SAS is telling us 14 sales monthly. So this is a bit of a slower seller, but I think it's the biggest profit we've seen within this specific brand. So maybe 1 to 3 units in terms of how much I would personally buy of this specific product, but it just kind of gives you an idea of what's available, just how many opportunities are there and what they all look like in different shapes and forms in terms of sales speed, in terms of profit per unit, things of that nature. So now we're coming in on a different flavor, right? Vanilla chai black tea. Vanilla chai black tea, same situation. Now this one, it's a little insane. Let's kind of break down how this one works. We don't have any specific sales, and we have this massive number in terms of sales per month, right? So it's telling us, okay, this guy here sells 20 units monthly, but we're not getting anything specifically because Amazon's not telling us directly with that little black, like for example, see how it's telling us 200 plus bought in past month? It's not telling us that. So this specific flavor, this specific variation of this, tea thing doesn't sell 20,000 units monthly. That's what the entire variation set. So all of these crazy amounts of products here combined together, they sell 20,000 units monthly. If you want to figure out how many units this specific variation sells, you'd have to come into here. You'd need Keepa first off. Then you'd have to go to variations. Then you'd have to go to ASIN. Then you have to paste that ASIN. And now we get an idea of how fast this particular variation, this specific guy is selling, because we have a percentage of reviews, right? And for you to leave a review, for you to leave a rating, you need to have purchased it. So when a customer buys a product, a percentage of every person who purchased it will leave a review. So for example, let's say, got a lot of stuff there. Let's say 100 customers buy this product, right? So 100 customers, and only 5 of them leave a rating, right? But each rating still represents a sale. So what that means is that ratings is just a derivative of sales. So we could basically take this percentage and figure out what percentage of ratings this particular variation has against the entire listing. And then we can take that multiply it against sales to get a decent idea. This is all almost theoretical data, but it's better than walking to an opportunity blind, because now you have a good idea of how many units that particular unit sells or that particular variation sells. So we have 189 ratings for this specific variation, but this listing has 58,000 ratings. So I'll just go boom, bam, 58,742. All I'm doing is taking the specific variation, the specific ratings for this variation, dividing it by the total ratings of the entire family, the entire variation family, to get an idea of how much it sells. And it's about 0.3%. So if I was to multiply that 0.3% by that 19,693, this item sells about 63 units monthly, right? So that's how you can turn this data, that data, and you can combine it together to get a decent idea of how fast this particular product sells. So just because you see that 20K sales monthly, you don't want to buy 200 units of this. If you buy 200 units of this, for example, we go 200 divided by 63, you just bought 3 months of inventory, technically, right? That's if you capture every single sale. But if you're only capturing maybe 10, 20% of the sale because you have competition, there's 2 other sellers on this listing, right? And let's say one seller is capturing 80% of the sales, so you're only left with 20. So of that 63, multiplied by 20%, you have 12.6. So if you go 200 divided by 12, you just bought 16 months of inventory in terms of actual sales you can capture from this specific variation. So what you want to understand is like, okay, how much do I want to buy in relative to how much I'm expecting, how fast I'm expecting this specific variation to sell, right? And if you're not sure, you can just avoid it. So if you're in this situation, you're like, oh, well, I don't know if this is good. I don't know, just skip it. You don't want to, or just buy a little bit, right? Buy only what you're willing to, quote unquote, lose. That goes across the board for any type of investment. You only want to invest what you can afford to lose. But in a situation like this, if you're not sure, just buy a small amount or skip it, right? This is $2. You feel me? So it's like, worst case scenario, you're going to lose like $30. It's like, I would tap into this, see how fast it sells. And now when I have real sales data, because I think of a lot of this information from Keepa, from SellerApp, I see it as theoretical. But once you get on this listing and you can see exactly how much you can sell in like real numbers across X amount of days, you can figure out, okay, I bought 10 units. I sold 10 units in 2 days. That was 5 units a day. Maybe I want to restock 150 units if I want to buy a full month of inventory, because 5 units per day times 30 is 150. Just kind of some simple math calculations to think about in terms of purchasing, right? So let's keep on moving. So this French vanilla decaf black tea, that is not the same thing. French vanilla decaf black tea, decaffeinated, 1.28, pack of 6, $21.95. This is a single back, so we're looking at a $274, $290, 105% return on investment. It's selling us 50 plus units sold monthly, and we have that black data directly from Amazon, so we know this is solid. This isn't just these different tools trying to figure out how fast it sells. This is Amazon telling us this product sells 50 units monthly, and it's very, very, very useful for us, right? So crazy returns here, solid profit. And I think we have one more specific product. This is the oolong, same exact situation. Buy cost is expected to be $274. This item here, same situation with a variation family, and we have no specific sales on this flavor here. So we don't know how fast this guy here sells. So what we'd have to do is the same exact situation, right? We can come in, and sometimes the variations will tell us what percentage, but sometimes there's not enough data. Like here, it's telling us, okay, 9.90%. So about 10%. So this listing sells about 60 units monthly, right? So 9.9% times that, 621, so 62, 60, same beat. So 274, 839, $1 profit, 50% return on investment. Suppressed listing, these are fine, honestly. It's just a different way to win sales, but you can still win sales. And if you can win sales, you can make money. If you can make money, there's no reason not to tap into it. So this specific brand here, in terms of Bigelow, I really like. I might be butchering the name, but nonetheless, extremely profitable, really good stuff. Massive catalog. I just looked at it a quick amount. I wasn't here a ton of time. They have a massive catalog. So if you spend some time sourcing here, you'll find some really good stuff, especially if you have a good discount code like the Happy B25. Now, let's go into some more basic stuff, right? I mean, I wouldn't say any of this is super complicated, but there's a little more detail to it than everything else. So this guy, freddy'smerch.com, you always want to make sure you're buying from legitimate websites. Check the domain age, check the footer links and stuff like that. You can buy this for $4.49. Here's a code, terms of like manufacturer code. Pop that in, 1270, 1279, $4.49, right? Solid match. 8.5 ounce. 8.5 ounce, just to make sure everything is a match, right? $2 profit, 54% return on investment. Really good move. Same grocery category where there's just not much competition, right? Not competition. There's not much return. So when you make a sale, that's usually just a sale that you're going to be making. That's just profit you're going to be earning, right? There's competition for sure. There's a lot of competition. But in terms of, I got to deal with refunds and returns, that's just not something you're really dealing with in the grocery section. So it's very attractive, especially for beginners looking to get started, looking to get some, solid first sales in without a lot of complications. Now, you got this guy here, Era Home Products, 1 pint store, 5-pack, $2.99, right? Come here, storekeepers, same situation, 5 count, $12.29. So That's a 5x multiple? Let me see. Might be 4. 3 times 4, yeah. So something that massive, there's profit to be made. So you put in $2.99, $12, $29, $2 profit, 77% return on investment on a product that sells 100 units monthly. Now this is like, okay, well, how many units should I buy? Exactly. I would probably, me personally, because it's like, you don't want to tell someone, oh, buy, blow your cash on this. And then it's like, oh, I lost some money. It's your fault. No, me personally, I would probably look at the 20 units around just to try to get an idea of what sales look like and things of that nature. Right. So that is the 12 profitable opportunities that we had broken down. If you want the actual details, I'm talking the source link, the sell link, like the actual Google sheet that has these opportunities, go into the description. There's going to be a link where you can go ahead and send your email in, and I'll send it directly to you so that you can access all these opportunities without having to, copy and paste or screenshot this and paste it in ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, what's the, so that you have direct access to everything. And you can actually deep dive into these opportunities yourself and really see what's going on.